Now in this, there's a lot of interest in dairying, keeping cows and all, and lot of new entrants are also coming in every day. Having their like techies are there, quite a few who are fed up of that technology jobs and want to do something with nature. And some city youth are there, so they are having exposure where they have seen one or two cows in the backyard, but if they want to scale it up to say 30 40 cows. I wanted your thoughts on why and what are the common mistakes that happens when people go into this medium and large scale dairy in our Indian context, and who should what people should be aware of before they plunge into this activity.
It's an excellent question. In fact, it's not only many people, including me. When I started my farming, I wanted more manure. So I knew that without dairy, I cannot be successful in farming, because good manure is a source. Getting a good manure is difficult. So that manure definitely improves my fertility of the soil, and my crop will be better, the quality will be better. On that context, I started dairy. But when it comes to a standalone dairy, which is a different equation. In a integrated dairy farming activity, the dairy, cattle and the farm, which is together, which acts as one unit. So the waste generated from agriculture, or the weed, or there are some bunds where we can cultivate some green grass, that gets fed into the animal. There is no the additional land exclusively growing for fodder, all that doesn't happen. So there are only few cattle, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cattle, which is managed along with the agriculture activity. Over there, totality of the business, totality of agriculture business along with this dairy and sheep and goat all put together, that is counted as one balance sheet. For him, it makes milk is a byproduct. That's how it makes for him to sustain in that business. These small producers, they pull their milk into a society, and the society sells it to the consumer. And today, like if you look at, the milk price is more or less stable, and there is an upper cap for the milk price. We cannot sell more than the procurement price, or more than the, if you are selling retail to the consumer, you cannot sell more than the marketing federation's, milk marketing federation price, you cannot sell. Now the question comes, how to make standalone dairy viable? Now what size we should take?
Standalone means there is no other farming activity.
There is no other activity. It is only dairy animal. Whatever required for that dairy animal, he has to produce from his land, and that is going to be fed into the animal, and from there he generates whatever the income he generates out of that animal. It becomes the main source of income. That is the main source of income. It becomes milk. Now, whether it is desi cow, or whether it is A1 milk or A2 milk, or whatever the milk you consider, the milk is one produce which has to be milked at least 2 times a day. Sometimes it is even 3 times a day. It requires, if you want to do automation, it requires a lot of capital investment.
Plus electricity is not there in this country.
No, electricity, if it is not required, then you require a generator. So there is an establishment cost. Generally what happens, today if you want to get a good cow, which is invariably around 75,000 to 1 lakh rupees, then you require a good shed, which at least about 85 to 100 square foot is required to house an animal. Then you require equipments like milking machines, then you require generator, then you require chopper, then you require land, then you require irrigation system for land to grow the fodder. So the total investment for the dairy, it lands in per animal maybe something like 3.5 lakhs or so, or maybe little. Sometimes it can, somebody may say it is less than that also, you can make it. Somebody say it can be require more also, but it depends upon the technology what you adopt. So that is one part. One part is a capital investment. Another part is a recurring investment. And the third, which is very crucial, is the labor manpower. Dairy is in a 365 days, 24 hours activity, wherein a person has to be employed. He has to start his activity early morning at 4 o'clock and it continues up to late night, up to 10 o'clock also. He has to start cleaning, he has to feed, he has to give, he has to provide water to the animal, then he has to give the concentrate feed, then he has to milk the animal, then he has to give the dry fodder. All this activity is a continuous activity. Now you can't say that one person I will employ for this, because one person cannot work for 365 days, because he requires at least 52 days weekly, 1 day off, then he requires certain amounts of holidays plus sick leave, etc. So effectively, if you consider, person generally works for around 250 days in a year. So you, for the rest of the 115 days or so, you have to have another person. So you require two persons in place of one person to do the work. So that overall what happens is the cost of labor is increasing, and getting in a labor for a 24 hours work, which becomes, even if you are going to pay twice or thrice the money also, it doesn't become attractive, because whatever the skill he earns in dairy to look after the animal, to feed the animal, to do the artificial insemination or whatever he learns, that does not fetch him higher wages when he goes out somewhere. So that's how the people don't get attracted to this, and they don't get attracted to learn the skill. One part of the biggest problem is to get people. Second is the cost of the people. Third and very crucial part of the things in animal husbandry is the breed. In India, it is so haphazardly the breeding program has been done. You take any cow, it will have mixed set of all the breeds. The semen is being distributed haphazardly, like the bull track is not done. Before the insemination is done, you don't know what is a bull what is the semen you are servicing to that animal, that is not known. In the whole process, like you take any animal, it has got Sindhi, it's got Jersey, it has got some native breed, and it's a mixture of all the breeds. And in the whole process, there are certain negatives of certain breeds have come into this animal, then there are certain positives also. You cannot take only positives of a particular breed when you are doing crossbreeding. So it so happened, like most of the breeds which has got thin small leg, which was of a breed of something like 200 kgs. Now you inseminate, when after insemination, like we have got an F1, which is a crossbreed. The body of the animal is 350 kg, but it has got its leg and this is from a native breed, which cannot hold that kind of weight. Obviously, the hoof becomes weaker. It cannot stand on its own. It's got a lot of issues. So that is how there are one of the biggest challenge for Indian milk animal is we have gone for haphazard crossbreeding. The negative and positives of the breed is not tracked. This has created a lot of problems. The native breeds, it doesn't get in like for a between calving period, like what we call as the one cow to another cow. A good breed can calve in 12 to 14 months. But many of the Indian breed where we have done the crossbreeding and we have got these cows, which has got a cycle of something like 18 months or 20 months or 24 months. So overall, most of our animal which is there in India, like the crossbreed animals, which has got a high percentage of HF or Jersey, it is not having those properties of that breed of like 14 months or 15 months calving characteristic is not there because of crossbreeding. These are all the negative things which has
become a mismatch.
Yeah, it's become a mismatch. So if you don't make the animal pregnant, and if you don't get the second calf within something like 400 days or 450 days, there will be a long dry spell, and feeding during the dry spell makes more and more expensive. So the cost per liter of milk automatically goes up. So this is because of the breed problem. One is a human resource problem, another one is a breed problem. Because of this haphazard breeding, there are a lot of diseases also which is creeped in. The Indian breeds never had brucellosis or tuberculosis or this kind of diseases. But along with the exotic blood, we have got brucellosis, we have got tuberculosis, we have got so many other things. So which is further tracking and handling of this disease is also not being done in our country. So that is also an area of big caution. Like when you get, if you want to make an exclusive dairy, if you want to get, you should get 50 disease-free animals first. Nobody will certify and give you my animal, what I am selling it to you is disease-free. And we have done, these are the vaccines and it is being done. Nobody will say. You have to go, you have to try your luck. Whomever is selling you the animal, it may look very nice. You may pay a lakh of rupees. When you come and when it calves and you start milking, it may not even give 15 liters of milk also. So it all depends upon luck. So that is a major issue in this. First is the high capital cost investment. Second is the high labor cost investment. Third is the unknown period of calving. That is intra-calving period is you don't know because you don't have a pure line breed or you don't have a proper breed. The fourth and the crucial aspect is like because of this crossbreeding, like number of calving, like earlier days, like if you see some animals like that is even calved 13 times, 14 times and things like that. Most of these exotic breeds are made out of high input and high output. So whereas what we are doing is most of our farmers, they rear the animal in an Indian style which is of low input and they anticipate a higher input, which is not possible. With that, the quality of milk also, you will not get a good quality of milk. Like we say milk is so good, it's got so much of protein, it's got so much of mineral, etc. But if you don't feed the enough required minerals and nutrient for the animal, the quality of milk is also very subjective. Like if you want for yourself, if you want to drink a milk, like it is better to drink a milk from an animal which gives less milk, which can always give a better quality of milk than that of one of those cattle which is giving 25 liters of milk, which is not being fed properly with the proper nutrition. So if you, the whole activity becomes messed up in such a way. Standalone dairy is not an option to start. Definitely it is not an option to start. Then people ask, the second question is, I am not going to sell the milk as a milk, I am going to sell the milk as desi milk. Even if it is desi milk also, the quantum of milk what that animal generates, it cannot service the capital cost, it cannot service the running cost and it cannot generate money. It is not a good balance sheet. Nobody will be appreciating that balance sheet when you go for a finance also. I have an experience of last maybe few generations, but my personal experience from 1989 on dairy, I have set up a dairy in my integrated farming activity, wherein I have a capacity to rear about 160 animals. But now I am not rearing 160 animals, I have scaled down. I rear only the animal what is required for my farming activities. Mainly the purpose of rearing the animal is for producing the manure required for that farm. So it becomes an integral part of the farming activity where whatever the milk what we sell, that becomes a byproduct. That's how we sustain in the whole farming activity, because we can get better quality fruits and better quality crops.
So to sum it up, you are saying that as long as there is a farm attached to the as long as it's integrated and there's a farm where you're growing other crops, and then along with that you keep cows,
Yes,
it will work out. Because
it's not in the workout instance. The farming activity will become better because of that cycle where the waste is fed to the cow, the manure from the cow it gets fed to the plant, the fertility of the soil gets improved, and that fertility of the soil, that money, whatever additional money what you generate in agriculture, that supports the animal. Or rather, animal supports the plant supports the animal.
So standalone dairy in our Indian context is not at all a good idea.
It is not a good idea, but if at all, if somebody wants to do a standalone dairy, he should produce about 10,000 liters or so milk.
That's not viable here.
10,000 liters or plus liters of milk if he can produce in certain places like North India, not in Southern India, Northern India, where organized dairy is missing. So this is a viable option where they can process 10,000 liters every day or more than 10,000 liters every day. And that 10,000 liters they can remove the cream, they can make ghee or butter or kova or paneer or various value-added products and sell it directly to the consumer.
But so it's not a thing for everybody and for
it's
many
not a
people.
thing. It's not. If you can sell milk directly to consumer, straight from the farm to the consumer, then it becomes viable because middleman, the federation money, which is a huge gap. So that gap is the criteria.
And suppose someone has a farm of say 3 acres, 5 acres, what is the ratio of land to cows in the dairy?
Invariably, like 1 acre, 1 cow will be the ideal situation. Then again, it depends upon the crop. There are certain crops which is not intensive. So there, even if 1 cow is sufficient for even 3 to 4 acres also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.